Hi, good morning. I hope you've had a great week and we'll be starting our last maths lesson of the week. Okay, so the first thing I want you to do before we start is do a test at home. Get whoever's around to try and test you on your 2 times tables and do them in order. But with us, we are going to start with naming fractions. Okay, we already know some names of fractions. Can you tell me them now? So I hope you named a half. I hope you named a quarter, and I hope you named a third, because they are the 3 names of fractions that we have learnt about today, this week. Okay, so we've got to figure out if these children are right. So we've got Ravi and we've got Ruby. Ravi says, this whole thing is 1. And Ruby says, I think the shaded part is half. So the first person we've got to think about is Ravi. Is Ravi right when he says that the whole shape is 1? Have a think now. He's right. The whole shape is 1. Remember, we've got to imagine it's chocolate or a cake or a pizza or something. It's a whole thing that's split up into parts. It's 1. Okay, now Ruby. I think the shaded part is half. Do you think Ruby's right? Can you tell me why you think Ruby's right or why you think she's wrong? Right, let me explain. So Ruby is telling me that if it's a half, our shape is split up into 2. Is our shape split into 2? No, it's split into 3. So what's it called when it's split into 3 parts? We had our shape, it's split up into 3 parts. It's called a third. So the shape is split up into thirds, but how many are coloured? That's right, there's 1 coloured, which means there's 1/3 coloured, not half. So she's not doing very well at her maths, is she? Okay. So now we're going to look a bit more in detail at different shapes. Okay. So here is shape 1. And it tells us that 3 equal parts make 1, which is true. There's 1, 2, 3 parts, which means the name of each part is a third, which means the denominator, remember that bottom number, is 3. Okay, so how much is shaded? I'm sorry, no. How much is 1 part worth? So what fraction would 1 part be? So 3 equal parts make 1 whole. The name of each part is a third, and the denominator is 3, and I've coloured in one of those things, so it means 1/3. Okay, if we're showing a half, we know that 2 equal parts make 1 whole. The name of each part is half, and the denominator is 2. So our numerator, if we are showing just 1/2, would be 1. Remember what I said last lesson? The denominator is telling us how many parts it's split up into, and the numerator is telling us how much is shaded. So here, what if 4 equal parts make 1? Now, ignore this. We never use the word fourth. So the name of each part is a quarter, and the denominator is 4. So 4 equal parts make 1 whole one. And if I've shaded in these 2, I've got 1/4, 2/4 shaded, because the denominator shows us how many parts and the numerator shows how many are coloured in. Okay, let me just... Okay, so now we're going to look at our guided practice. And we've got to match and fill the blanks in. So we've got to have a think about what fraction is shown. So this first one, it's just whole, isn't it? It's not split up into parts. So that is just 1 whole one. Now, what about this? How many equal parts is it? And how many are coloured? So it must be, the denominator's got to be 3. And the numerator's got to be 2. So numerator 2, denominator 3, which means it matches up with that. Okay, so what about this one? How many parts is it split up into? 4. So our denominator's got to be 4. And how many parts are shaded? 2. So our numerator's got to be 2. So which one has a numerator 2 and a denominator 4? It's got to be this one. And we've just said the numerator's 2 and the denominator's 4. Okay, let me move me. So on our next one, it's our last one, and our denominator's got to be 2 because it's split into 2, and our numerator's got to be 1 because only 1's coloured in. Ooh, sorry about my line. So numerator 1, denominator 2, and it's a half. So here we're now looking at what fraction of the circle is shaded. So the name of each part would be what? It's split up into 4. So what would be the name of each part? I might have to write it up here. It is a quarter. And what's the denominator when we're splitting into quarters? It's 4. Okay. And then here again on this side, the name of each part is what? There's 4 parts to that shape. So the name of each part is again a quarter, which means the denominator again is 4. Remember, the denominator is the bottom number. Okay, Okay, so today you are going to do in worksheet 5, which is pages 103 and 104. Again, if you've collected your workbook, do it in there. But if you haven't, I'll be uploading the worksheets. Have a great weekend, and I will see you on Monday.